Hey everyone, Pete Jr. here from Defiant Munitions. I was doing some moving some stuff around and came across this barrel, and I wanted to share it with you guys because there's no one else in this world that's ever seen this barrel or knows about it unless you have the last name of Pye. And just thought it would be a cool quick video for you guys to see it and hear the history on it. And it's a pretty important barrel for the firearms industry and stuff. But a lot of people know about my history, with Corbon Ammunition Company and stuff. Back in 1982, Peter Pye Sr. started Corbon Ammunition Company in Detroit, Michigan, and we, moved to Sturgis, South Dakota, back in I think '94. But we had since sold the company, and I went off on my own and started Defiant Munitions in 2018. But this barrel is the very first 500 Smith Wesson Magnum barrel firearm ever made. It was the very first thing. Back then, when we designed the cartridge, there was no X-frame, nothing from Smith Wesson at that time. And so back in 2002, a great close friend of the family's, Herb Beelan, that worked at Smith Wesson, he's since retired, approached us and said, hey, we want you to design the most powerful handgun cartridge ever seen in the world. And that's all we had. We had a clean slate. He said, listen, you guys make the cartridge and we will build the firearm around it. We want it to be a revolver. We want it to be at least 5 shots. And we wanted to, blow the doors off of anything out there. And so we went to work on literal napkins, and we're making case designs and everything. And, we tried all kinds of different things and came out, then the 500 Magnum was born. We knew that we wanted to do, a 50 cal something. The problem was, there was really no, specific bullets for, a handgun cartridge and 50 cal made at that time, or at least there was very few. And obviously there was no firearms. So we went to J.D. Jones at SSK Industries and had him make this little 10-inch single shot Encore barrel up that fits, the Encore barrels. And it's a 10-inch, it's a bull barrel. I don't know, it looks like maybe it's an inch, maybe inch and a quarter straight taper barrel. And boy, let me tell you, this thing was absolutely miserable to shoot. But so anyways, we designed the 500 Smith & Wesson Mag cartridge in 2002, and then in January of 2003 at SHOT Show, it was introduced, to the public, and Smith & Wesson had a big press release and everything, and us at Corbon, we took it to SAMI because we were members of SAMI then. We sat on the technical board there, and we had it SAMI approved and everything, and the rest is kind of history. Smith & Wesson designed the X-frame around the cartridge. The original Smith & Wesson revolver was the X-frame, and it had an 8 3/8 inch barrel on it with this one's a part of it, but the original X-frames, and I know they're still sold today, they had removable muzzle brakes, interchangeable, so you'd hit a key and then change it out for hard cast or jacketed bullets. And the original, so like I said, there was really no bullets out there that were made to work for this case. So the simplest way for us to do the testing was to have JD Jones at SSK make us a barrel. You can see that here that it's got a strain gauge on it for pressure testing, and you can see it was a simple telephone cord line plugged into our pressure testing system to give us pressure and stuff. And so the ceiling pressure, SAMI max, SAMI map of this cartridge, 65,000 PSI is where we set it. But the first bullets that we made were hard cast bullets because they were easy, super easy to make, and we could adjust bullet weights and stuff. But the first one was a 440 grain hard cast bullet, and it had a gas check on it. And so that's what I did all the preliminary, load development was with that 440 grain hard cast. And let me tell you, it was like Thor's hammer. This thing, no muzzle brake, just a single shot barrel. I know it's a big, straight taper barrel, but my God, the recoil was impressive. Probably the first 2 or 3 weeks of me doing load development, I probably shot close to 500 rounds through this barrel. And like I said, the recoil was absolutely insane. It was horrible. My hands were so swollen and bruised from all that shooting. I couldn't pick a cup up. I couldn't shake somebody's hand. It was miserable, and nobody else at the shop wanted to shoot it. I could always get guys to, shoot it 1 or 2 times, but the recoil was so severe. I mean, nobody else would do it. So it was my responsibility to keep shooting it and get the data and, do all the stress testing on it and everything. And boy, it was horrible. But I thought you guys would, get a kick out of this. It is a really cool piece of industry history, with the 500, because, the 500, sales, the first year sales outsold the yearly sales of the 44 mag when it was introduced. So it was the largest grossing caliber for sales that the world's ever seen, for a revolver cartridge. And but later Smith and Wesson presented this to me as a gift for doing all the work and stuff, and it's a Performance Center X-frame, and it was sent to Ken Kelly at Magnaport. And you can see this is a Performance Center gun. It's got the Corbon engraved there, and the cylinders polished there and stuff. And I actually just might bear the video here. It's just a straight through, no editing, but it's Performance Center. And I actually went on and I shot, at the time I was in Texas, and we were doing a handgun hunt at the YO Ranch, and I brought this along. And what I found that worked really well was a aim point. I think it was a Comp M4 maybe back then. I'm not sure on the model, but I put a single Badger Ordnance ring, a big heavy steel Badger Ordnance ring, and put that aim point on there, and it worked really, really well for it. And back then I ended up shooting the world record 4-horn sheep, or Jacob sheep as they call it, for the largest 4-horn sheep shot with a handgun. And at that time, I was doing research and development on a new solid copper bullet that I worked with Barnes Bullet Company to design. It was a 275 grain Spitzer bullet, all copper construction, and trying to maximize the range of this cartridge. Anyways, I ended up hunting this 4-horn sheep for days on end, and we got to the last day of the hunt, and this thing just was elusive. And we were chasing this thing all over the ranch. It was terrible. Finally, the last day of the hunt, we're 20 minutes before dark. This sheep presented a shot at 175 yards. It was running straight away from me at 12 o'clock. And all I could see, the only sight picture I could get was of his butt. And since we were in Texas, I was like, let's do a Texas heart shot. So at 175 yards, this thing was running. I literally put that 275 grain bullet right in the target zone, and the bullet ended up perfectly expanding and exiting out his chest. And later went to find out that 4-horn sheep was the new world record with a handgun. But and it just really proved performance of how much power the 500 Smith and Wesson brings to the table. And it's just an impressive cartridge. It's one of my favorites, obviously, because we're responsible for it and stuff. But I love this 500 cartridge, and I thought you guys would like hearing some of the history about it. But at Defiant Munitions, we redesigned and did a 385 grain TCX, which is a total copper expanding round. And it's a Spitzer because I love, gives that little bit of a higher BC and stuff, and kind of can extend the range of the cartridge. and we found that it works really well in the Bighorn Armory lever guns as well. So it's a great load, and at 385 grains, it's right in that sweet spot for this cartridge, and it just really works well. I have shot hundreds of animals with this handgun. And the 500 Smith Wesson Mag, including the Bighorn Armory 500. And, it's just one of my favorite cartridges. It's kind of a dual cartridge, and, shooting an animal at 175 yards. I had witnesses as well. My father was with me, and some guys from the YO Ranch and some friends and stuff, and it was a very impressive shot. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I haven't posted in a while, but if you guys enjoy hearing some of the industry, history and stuff like that, I've been in this industry my entire life. I was born into it and stuff, and some of these things, just bring back some great memories, and I just wanted to tell a story because I know nobody else has heard of this barrel or seen this barrel, and so I thought I'd show it to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to hit me up at Defiant Munitions, and or shoot me a text or something. But anyways, have a great day, and we'll talk to you on the next video.